Hi, y'all. Let's cover exam one review. I haven't done this in a few years, so bear with me. I'm just going to go through and see what we can do here. I've got the answers so we can check ourselves as we go. All right. Please make sure you're not doing this for the first time watching me. That is not the reason for this review. To use this review, you should have gone through, gotten answers for every single question, then gone and checked your answers. If your answers are wrong or right, now then you can watch the video, but don't watch this without having done the review first. You're doing yourself a disservice. That's not what this is for. Okay. That being said, let's get going. So I've got, consider this number, write the digit for the given place value in the whole number above. Okay. So for this number, we need to find who's in the millions place. Well, we've got ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. So 1 is in the millions place. All right. 100 billions. Well, the 1 was in our millions, 10 millions, 100 millions. Nope, we need billions, 10 billions, 100 billions. So that would be 7. And then 10 billions was back here at 0. All right. Write this number using digits. So we've got 800, 2,430,610. So I see 800, 2 million, comma, 430,000, comma, 610. There we go. Identify the numbers labeled with the letters A, B, and C on the scale below. So I don't see A, B, and C, but it looks like I had some fun with making this. All right, so we need to figure out what these represent. If this is 5,000 and this is 4,000, then half, these are cut into threes. These aren't even cut into the halves, are they? Well, no, it would be. This would be 4,500 because it would be in between. So you would take 5,000 minus 4,000, you get 1,000, and cut that in half again, and you'd get 500, which you would add to it. So that's 4,500. Half of 4,500 and 4,000 is 4,250. Okay, so the heart is 4,250. I can't write my commas correctly. 250, there we go. This is 4,000. This would be 3,750. So this would be 3,500 for this little gidget, 3,500. And then we've got 5,000, 5,250, and then 5,500. You need to figure out what it is increasing and decreasing by for each of those notches. Okay. All right. I think I had a dream about that the other night, oddly enough. So let's multiply 566 times 507. You're going to have your calculator. You can do this in your calculator. But just for understanding how to multiply 3-digit numbers, if you would like to know, that'd be great. 566 times 507. That would be 6 times 7. I always start with the first digit on the right here on the bottom, and I take this whole number up top and multiply it by the first number on the right in the bottom. So 6 times 7 is 42. Put the 2 here. I would carry the 4. 6 times 7 is 42. 42 plus 4 is 46. So I put the 6 here, carry the 4. 5 times 7 is 35. 35 plus 4 is 39. And then I would come down here and put a mark because the 7s are done. The next ones will start underneath where the 0 is, and everything for that is 0. So we don't have to worry about that one. So now both of those are done. 7 and 0s are done. So 6 times 5 is 30. I've already done these, plus 3. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 3 is 33. 3 and carry the 3. And then 5 times 5 is 25. 25 plus 3 is 28. Once you get them, make sure to keep them all lined up, because then you just come down here and add everything up. All right, so we got 286,962. Yep, looks like I got it right. What's the next one? The next one is, all right, it's a word problem. Jennifer is planning to drive 1,088 miles on a road trip. All right. If she drives 272 miles a day, how many days will it take to complete the trip? She goes 272 miles per day, and she's driving for 1,088 miles. So she's dividing up that 1,088 miles by 272 a day. So we're going to divide 1,088 by 272. And what you have to do here. So 1,088 divided by 272 will tell us how many days. Let me show you though. We haven't done unit conversion yet. So I want to show you the unit conversion part. Not yet. Not yet. We'll do that in the next when we actually get a little further in. All right. So 1,088. Oh, goodness. Divided by 272 equals 4. So it's going to take, it will take Jennifer 4 days. Here's the deal though. In your answer key, it doesn't show you that you need to answer in sentence form. This is a word problem. Because it is a word problem and it is asking you a question, the answer is not just okay, or for. Think about it, how to appropriately address your grandmother. You need to answer her in complete sentence and let her know that you know what you're talking about. So Jennifer's driving. How many days will it take to complete the trip? It will take. And then you will say 4 days, because days is the units to complete the trip. Just put it in sentence form. I'm not going to judge your punctuation, your capitalization, your spelling. I don't care. All I care about is that you ensure that you're letting me know that you know what you're talking about. All right. A coach has 91 players on a team. If he needs to form groups containing 7 players, how many groups will he need to form? Well, there's 91 players and we need 7 players per group. So we're going to have to divide 91 players by 7 to find out how many groups we're going to be able to do. So this is not going to divide evenly. We're going to have some people left over, I believe. Let's try 7 into 91. 7 goes into 9 once. 1 times 7 is 7. I'm going to subtract that from the 9. 9 minus 7 is 2. Oh, no, this works perfectly. Bring down the 1. And then 7 goes into 21 3 times. And then 3 times 7 is 21. And we get a 0. So we have no remainder left. Bear with me just one moment. Sorry about that. This is on my time. So my son came out to talk, so I had to answer him. All right. 13. Came out with a 0, no remainder. That's perfect. We have just enough baseball players to make exactly 13 groups, 13 teams. All right. 7 players. He'll be able to form 13 teams with 91 players. So what's the question? How many groups will he need to form? He will need to form. Just answer exactly this, that he will need to form, 13 groups. So in this case, you're writing a sentence. That's great. You're providing the 13. There's no rounding needed. The other piece is make sure you have your units. What is that number describing? That is your units. Okay. So ensure that you have that. Don't leave money on the table, is what I always say. All right. The next one is find the perimeter and area of the figure pictured below. All right. Well, the perimeter, we need to find all the sides because we do not have them all currently. We've got all except for this one and this one. So what we need to do is find out, let's just take one at a time. I see that this one is horizontal and this one is horizontal. And I see that if this one actually continued all the way over here, it would be the same length as this one, and this one's 17. All right, so this would be 17. But it's missing this piece right here. And we can find out what that piece is just by looking right there because it's the same size. And so that's 5 feet, which means this piece has to be the 17 feet minus the 5 feet. All right, so that would be 12 feet is what this one is, 12 feet. All right, now let's find this one. We're going to do the same thing. This line would be the same length as this line if it continued straight down to the bottom line. So we need to find out this piece that's missing, and I can look right over here and see that it's 4 foot. Okay, so for this piece, it's going to be the 12 foot minus the 4 foot. So it is 8 foot. All right, now we can find the perimeter of this figure. To do that, we just add up all of the sides. If you write a number in here for these dotted lines, that is not part of the perimeter. The perimeter is just like this cup. It is the rim of the cup. It has to go around it, not in it. All right, so I'm going to start with right here. I'm going to go all the way around it and add them up. So I've got 17, 4, 12, 8, 5, and 12. All right, I'm just going to add these up real quick. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 22, 8. There's 8. Here's the 2, 3, 4, 5. So 58 feet is our perimeter. So let me make sure we're correct. Yep. The perimeter is 58 feet. Done. Got my unit, my sentence, and my don't have to worry about rounding. All right, so now they're wanting us to figure the area. I always label these as A1 and A2 whenever I'm doing this, just so that I can keep my area separated. So to do this, keep in mind, these are creating 2 rectangles, all right? And you've got to remember that the area of a rectangle is length times width, all right? And we know that this side from here to here is 8, all right, which is the same as this side here. And we know that this side is 5, as is this side. So 8 times 5 is our area for area 1. All right, so area 1 is length times width, which is, we'll go 8 foot times 5 foot. And that is 40 foot squared. I'll write my sentence after I get both areas and add them up. We have to find the area 2 first. Area 2, length times width. This is area 1. Okay, well, all right, this is 12. This is 17. So we'll have to use the 17 because that covers the whole length of area 2. And then we just need to know from here to here for the width. And we have that at 4. So area 2 is 17 foot times 4 foot. All right, and that is 68 feet squared. Okay, to find the total, we just add area 1 and area 2. Area 1 plus area 2 gives us 40 feet squared plus 68 feet squared, which is 108 feet squared. Now I can write my sentence, not before this, because I just found the area of the entire thing. So big area is equal to those 2. We've already written about the perimeter. Now we just need to write about the area. So the area is, and the big part about this is make sure the sentence, the 108, and then the units, feet squared. Remember, area is always, always, always measured in squares, square units, square meters, square inches, square feet. Okay, so there are my 2 answers for that. Let's look at the next one. Find the area of the rectangle below. Well, area for a rectangle is just length times width. These do not have units, which really bothers me. So I'm going to use meters just so that I don't have issues later, have to seek counseling. So the area for this rectangle is 17 meters times 22 meters. And then we have to do 17 times 22. I could write it, I could do it out for you, or we can use the calculator. It's just 17 times 22, which is 374. What do we have there? What number is this? 8? Yep, here we go. All right. So the area is 374 meters squared. These meters multiply together and give you a meter squared, because meters 1 times meters 1 is meters 1 squared. I mean, it's not, it's just meter squared. All right, a coach has 91 players on the team. We already did this one. Okay, that was easy enough. You decide you need a new computer. The cost of the computer is $504. However, the store also offers a rent-to-own option, which will cost $26 per week for 24 weeks. How much more will the rent-to-own option cost after you have made all the payments? Oh, cool. Got a few steps here. So we know the cost of the computer is $504 if we just pay for it. If we rent to own it, it's going to cost us $26 per week for 24 weeks. Well, to calculate the total for that, it's just 26 times 24. All right, let me do this real quick. 8 and 10. So I'm doing 6 times 4 is 24. Put the 4 here, carry the 2. I'm adding it. And then 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10. I finished that one. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So that would cost $624. $624 if you did the rent to own, versus $504 if you just paid for it. So how much money would you save just for paying for it? Their question is, how much will the rent to own option cost after you've made all the payments? Oh, how much more will it make? So that's 504. We're subtracting them. 4 minus 4 is 0, 2 minus 0 is 2, and 6 minus 5 is 1. So how much more will the rent to own option cost? It will cost $sign for my unit, $120 more for rent to own. That's how much more you're paying. Basically, if you put it on a credit card, you can actually pay just as much for that, if not more, because interest rates are usually around 24 to 29%. So once we get to savings and stuff in the next class, we'll be doing a lot of that fun stuff to discuss. Maybe that's something I'll do in my next one, to do credit cards versus rent to own. Put that on my notes. Credit card versus rent to own. Have to write the stuff down when you think about it. I don't know about y'all. All right, what's next? Enter the prime factorization of 300. I'm out of space, so I'm going to come back over here again. 300, we're going to prime factor that sucker, and we're going to take it down to all prime numbers only, nothing else. So 1s, 2s, and 3s. All right, so when I think of 300, I think of 3 and 100. 3 times 100 is 300. That's the first thing I think about. I don't know about y'all. So 3 and 100 multiply together to give me 300. This is creating that tree again that we've done. 3 is a prime number. I'm done with that one. I'm going to bring this 100 and make another branch. 100, again, I'm going easy here. 10 times 10 is 100. So the next thing I'm going to do is, neither one of those are prime, so I've got to break them both down. For 10, I'm thinking 5 and 2 for both of those, and those are all prime. We're done. Okay, so the prime factorization of 300 is equal to 2 times 2 times 3 times 5 times 5. Okay, that's one way to write it. Let's write it condensed with exponents because that's something you're going to have to be able to do as well. So we have 2 2's. So that means we have 2 squared represents 2 times 2. We have only 1 3, so just write a 3. And then the last one is we've got 2 5's, so that is 5 squared. Oh, I provided the same thing on the notes. They provided the same thing. So we got them both. Rock on. All right. If you have any questions as we're going through this, please make sure you write it down so that you can ask me before the exam. Which of the following numbers are prime? Select all that apply. All right. Well, 1 is prime. 2 is prime. I know those. Everything else I have to think about. 6. And if they aren't prime, I have to prove they're not prime. 6 is equal to 2 times 3. So 6 is not prime. 21 is equal to 3 times 7. So it's not prime. It's composite. 11, it's just 11 and 1. And then 9 is 3 times 3. So it is not prime. So 1, 2, and 11 are all prime. All right. Cool. That was fun. All right, blowing through this sucker. Good stuff. What's next here? Expand and multiply to evaluate each expression. All right, I'm going to do these on the separate paper over here. So we've got 5 squared, we've got 8 cubed, and we've got 3 squared. All right, 5 squared, if you put this in your calculator, that is going to be, well, if you don't put it in your calculator, let's go with that first. This is just 5 times 5, which is 25. All right, if you do it that way, that's fine. The other way to do this is your calculator is 5 caret 2 equals. Remember, I told you the caret could be an x to the y, an x to the box, sometimes a y to the x. It's just different things for the exponent. All right. The next one is 8 cubed, which is 8 times 8 times 8. All right. So 8 times 8 is 64 times 8. I would need to either calculate or do, I'm just going to go ahead and calculate right now. 64 times 8 is, well, 512. Okay. The other way to write this, or put this is in the calculator, and this would be 8 caret 3 equals. Okay. The next one is 3 squared, which is just 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Or put it in the calculator, 3 caret 2 equals. Okay. All right, next we're going to write 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 in exponential form. Well, that's just 2 how many times? 4. That's it. Okay. Simplify 6 plus 6 times 3. All right, now we're bringing in PEMDAS. PEMDAS. And remember the parentheses and left to right. Muy importante. So we've got, and I want to write this vertical. So 6 plus 6 times 3. We've got addition and multiplication. Who comes first? Multiplication comes before addition. So 6 times 3, so 6 plus 6 times 3 is 18. Now we can do the addition. 6 plus 18 is 24. All right, so there's that one. Number 16, I'm going to come over here for it. 2 plus 3 times 8 minus 3. All right, we've got parentheses, we've got addition. I'm going to have to go with the parentheses first. That's 2 plus 3 times, and then 8 minus 3 is 5. All right, now we've got addition and multiplication, and multiplication comes before addition. So 2 plus 3 times 5 is 15. And now we can do our addition, which is 17. Okay. The next one I'm going to rewrite on my paper because I want to give it some space to work with. All right. So this is 5 plus 12 divided by 3 plus 6 times 3 squared. All right. Again, PEMDAS. All right. We've got addition. That's way over here. Division here, addition, multiplication, exponents. So exponents are first, period. We have no parentheses. So 3 squared is going to be 9. I'm just going to bring everything else down. This one could be very difficult if you were not careful. Now we have addition in 2 places. Well, that's over here. And then we've got division and multiplication. So what do we do first, division or multiplication? Well, it says multiplication first, but you've got to realize it's left to right. So we have to do this division first. So 5 plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. And then I'm bringing everything else down. Okay. Now we're going to do the multiplication. 5 plus 4 plus 54, which is 6 times 9. And now we've got only addition. And so I'm going to add up everything else. 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 54. And so that's 63. Okay. Let's go to the next one, 18. We've got 6 squared plus 3 squared. All right. So 6 squared is 30. I'm gonna do this over here. 6 squared plus 3 squared. So we can work down. 6 squared is 36. Okay. Plus 3 squared, which is 9. 6 times 6 is 36. Maybe I should write it that way. Hold on, y'all. I don't want to skip too many steps. 6 squared plus 3 squared. So this means 6 times 6 plus 3 times 3. 6 times 6 is 36. Plus 3 times 3 is 9. Okay. 36 plus 9 is 45. What's next? We've got exponential form. Did I miss? I came down here. Okay. Now we've got 6 plus 3 squared. So 6 plus 3 squared. We have to do what's inside the parentheses first. So that's 9 squared. And then 9 squared is just 9 times 9, which is 81. So if you don't want to break it back down from 9 squared to 9 times 9, you can put it in your calculator. It's just 9 caret 2 equals. Same thing up here. 6 caret 2 is 36. 3 caret 2 is 9. You're going to have your calculator with you. So either way, just to make sure you understand both though, moving forward. So 9, and that's going to give you 81. All right, what's next? We've got solve C plus 7 is equal to 11 down here. So we want to isolate C all by itself. So we have to see who's attached to C and how. So 7 is attached to C by addition. The opposite of addition, or the inverse of addition, is subtraction. So we're going to have to subtract 7. And what we do to one side, we have to do to the other, because there's this cute little equal sign here. All right, when we do that, we get C, this is 0, is equal to 11 minus 7. 11 minus 7 is 4. So C is equal to 4. To check that, all we have to do is plug that 4 back into C. 4 plus 7 is equal to 11. And then see if it checks out. 4 plus 7, 11. Yep, works beautiful. And that's just a checking it. The next one is solve y minus 5 is equal to 4. Well, it's who's attached to y and how. That's what I always ask myself. Who's attached to y and how? 5 is attached to y with a negative sign. So we're going to have to do the inverse or the opposite of that and add 5 over here to get that out of there. But what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So y is equal to 9. All right. The next one I'm going to bring up here because it's getting a little tight down here. 28. Who's attached to y and how? 4 is attached to y by multiplication. What is the inverse or the opposite of multiplication? It is division. So to get rid of that 4, we have to divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And that's what we want. But what we do to one side, we have to do to the other because of the equal sign. So this becomes y equals, now 28 divided by 4 is 7. Okay, that's 22. 23, it says 10 is equal to 2b. So we're isolating b, that's who we're solving for. And who's attached to b and how? 2 is attached to b by multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is division, or the inverse. All right, so b is equal to 10 divided by 2, which is 5. All right, what's next? Oh, the fractional one. Okay, cool. All right. A divided by 8 is equal to 3. So who's attached to A and how? 8 is attached to A by division. What's the opposite or the inverse of division? It is multiplication. So we have to multiply both sides by 8. Okay. And when we do that, this 8's over 1. So these reduce. 8 over 8 is 1. And we're left with A is equal to 8 times 3 is 24. Okay. We can check this also. A divided by 8 is equal to 3. We're saying that A is 24. Is 24 divided by 8, 3? Yes, it is. Okay. All right. So the last one here says, using the formula, distance is equal to rate times time. Find the distance covered by an airplane flying at 300 miles per hour for 4 hours. So we're looking for distance because they're not telling us how many miles. They're telling us the rate, which is the miles per hour, and they're telling us the time, which is 4 hours. So, and this is distance is equal to rate times time. All right, it's actually a little d, but that's okay. And they're telling us the rate is 300 miles per hour, and the time is 4 hours. So that means the distance is 300 times 4, which is 1,200. Okay. So we need to put this in sentence form. Find the distance covered. The distance covered was 1,200, and do not forget the units. Miles. It has to be miles because that's what's in the rate. Okay. Miles. All right, that's it for the review. If you have any questions on this after watching the video and struggling through it yourself, please reach out to me and let me know prior to the exam so that I can help you. All right, y'all have a good one. Good luck.